Hello and welcome to another episode of Tiva Drive, and this time around we are back with a Mustang EGT Performance. That includes the performance upgrade, which can be obtained and purchased over the air and downloaded to the car. So this one does have it. And on the left we're comparing it with its closest new and newest competitor, Chevrolet Blazer EV, and this is the RS version, which is the sporty version, but it's only cosmetically sporty. To get the similar performance to this MachE EGT, you have to wait until the SS model comes out with its 577 horsepower and sub 4 second acceleration. This Mustang EGT, as you know, we previously tested and reviewed it, is 480 horsepower, and with the performance upgrade it's capable of 3.5 seconds. So we'll have to wait to drive the SS version to compare. However, price-wise, imagine that. After the huge price drop on this Mustang EGT, the last version we drove of the GT, when it was just launched 2 years ago, the price was over 90 grand. This one here starts at 69 grand plus options with a standard sunroof, etc. So this car here as is about 72 grand. Now on the left, this Chevy Blazer EV RS, which has all-wheel drive but only 288 horsepower and a 6.2 second acceleration, is priced from 64,000, and it doesn't even have a sunroof. So as is, it's about 68. You throw in a sunroof and you will be at 70 grand. So basically the same price. Both of these cars are same price, but you get almost 3 seconds quicker 0 to 100 on the Mustang. So what are the other advantages? The range. The battery on the left, the Chevy's battery is 85 kilowatt hours, where the Mustang is 91 kilowatt hours. So the battery is bigger as well. The range, the Transport Canada EV range on both is identical, 450 kilometers. We'll tell you about the results of our test results when we do the driving section of the Mustang MachE GT. For now, let us show you the interiors. Interior comparison. So this is the typical Chevrolet EV interior, large screens everywhere. Because this is the RS, again, doesn't have the sunroof, but the RS comes with the red and black trim. On the interior, you can choose your, of course, interior trim colors. Let's turn it on. The way you turn on the car is basically put your foot on the brake. There is no on-off button like in the Mustang. You just press the okay, so a lot of warnings, ringing bells, of course, because we have the doors and the trunk open. Okay, that's fine. Until we close the doors, I guess it'll keep ringing. Yeah, there we go. We know that the rear access is open. So basically this is the two digital screens. In the Mustang, the center screen is vertical, as you know. This one is horizontal. Let's press OK on this. Stay in demo mode. There we go. So here it's 63%. It's showing 284 kilometers. Again, the rated range 450. So I am now in pretty comfortable position for driving. I can pull it back a little bit maybe, and let's see what the rear space looks like. So as soon as I exit, the car will turn itself off. There we go. Let's jump in the back seat. Maybe we can close it because otherwise it'll keep ringing. There we go, the car has turned itself off. This is the rear seats. They are quite spacious, so even with me in a comfortable position, you can see I'm 190 centimeters or 6'3". My son is 6'5". Too bad he's not here today to test the sizes of interior. Now, the headroom is decent, although I'm almost touching the roof. Not quite, but it's not a huge headroom in the back. But it should be more based on the shape of the car. This car is a little bit taller than the Mustang. There should be a bit more headroom. So we're gonna jump in the MachE momentarily, And actually, you should be able to adjust the seat back so it's adjustable here. Yeah, there we go. So now it's more reclined. There we go. And now the headroom improves a bit. So you can adjust the angle of the seat back for the back seats. It's a 40-60 split. Let's show you the trunk. Here you have the two vents, two USB ports, and seat heaters for the rear passengers. The car seems to be still on. All right, so let's jump to the trunk size. So basically here it's a sizable trunk. Since we have both trunks open, we might as well compare right away. Here's the 40-60 split. It does have some storage under the floor. So here you go. Quite deep storage for your cables and other stuff. And there's the repair kit as well, of course. So let's just close it back for now. And let us show you the Mustang Mach-E. And we're gonna do it in reverse. So we'll start with the trunk size. Here's a nice rubber mat that came with the press car. And here's some storage, underfloor storage. Not as deep as the Chevys, but still decent storage for cables, emergency tire kit, etc., etc. So we're gonna do the back seat space. You can see right away that it's a little bit tighter. So the Chevy is larger. Let us show you the leg space. For me, it's definitely tighter. I can see it already. There you go. I'm touching the seat. I'm in a comfortable position in front, and I'm touching the front seat. The headroom in the back, as you can see, there is a little cutout. But you actually, when you're sitting down, you're touching the part behind the glass. So even though there's a cutout for your head, when I'm sitting down, I'm touching the edge of the glass sunroof and the roof liner, and I'm not touching it, so I'm okay, just barely. So definitely less headroom in the back, which is expected because of the shape of the car. As you can see, it's a kind of a coupe shape, where the Chevy is more of a typical SUV shape. So definitely more legroom and more headroom in the Chevy. So we've shown you the interior of the Mustang EGT in front before. We have quite a few videos. So we'll just get to the driving section and impressions of the driving of the Chevy. Stay tuned. Okay, so here we are inside 2024 Chevy Blazer EV RS version, 288 horsepower, 85 kWh battery, about 6.2 seconds acceleration with 288 horsepower. There will be a more powerful SS version with 570 horsepower, under 4 seconds acceleration, more compatible with the Mustang EGT performance that we're testing this week. Oh, very loud fan speed. Okay, so the climate is all here. So the one complaint about the new Chevrolet and GM electric vehicles is that yes, you have Amazon Alexa, but you don't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. This is perhaps a mistake in our opinion, because we love our Android Auto. We really prefer to have it. It's a similar situation with the Volvo Polestar. You have the Google-based system, which this is what it is, but we'd prefer to have the Android Auto, and I'm sure Apple CarPlay for Apple users. Vehicle status. Let's see if it shows us something. Energy info, and then you can have the trip, the energy usage, and then you can have trip info. Average kilometer efficiency, kilometers per kilowatt hours. We should be able to change it into the other one, and again, there might not be way through options to change it into kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. I'm sure there is. But for now, we'll just leave it on that screen, put it in drive, and this is the stack. So on the Mustang, you have it here. On the Chevys, it's like in the old, Chevys from the 60s, 70s. You pull it towards you, boom, and you're in drive. I wonder if we can turn on. The car creeps forward. There should be a setting for one pedal driving. Drive modes, sport. No, we don't want sport. We don't care because this is not the SS model. Normal. And there doesn't seem to be a button for one pedal driving. So perhaps some of you Chevy Equinox and Chevy Blazer EV can tell us later. We don't have time to study it right now because we're just at a dealership here at Tom Smith in Midland, and it's been gracious enough to lend us this car for a few minutes to compare with the Mustang EGT. I'm sure that there should be a way to turn on the one pedal driving on it, but for now we'll just keep it on the consumption screen, and let's take it for a quick spin around the block here. So obviously we don't expect better performance, but it's good that we're comparing these two, even though the Mustang EGT is obviously quicker, faster, etc., way more power. 288 horsepower here versus 480, so 200 extra horsepower, 3 seconds almost quicker acceleration. But the pricing is very similar. After the recent price drops on the Mustang Mach-E, the price is virtually the same. So this car, if you add a sunroof, would have been at 69 grand, which is the same price for the Mustang Mach-E GT, which is incredible. Again, the last version we drove when they were introduced a couple of years ago, it was over 90 grand. So that was expensive for a Ford Mustang. I'm sure there is even more expensive versions of the two-door gas version, like the Shelbys and all the rest of them. Yeah, so to us, it kind of was really, it was in line with a lot of the luxury brands, so it kind of did not make sense for us to even consider it. So let's try and press it. Oh yeah, this is the eco mode, obviously. So it's good enough. Acceleration, the pickup is nice, but this is the eco mode. So if you want to change your drive modes again, it would be nice to have a button to change the modes. Here's the sport. You get the sound effects right away, and yes, there is a difference. We prefer the one pedal driving, and perhaps some of you commenters can let us know how to quickly change it. Once we get the car for a week from GM, hopefully soon, including its Cadillac Lyriq equivalent, we will be testing also the Honda and Acura versions of this car. But for now, this is just a quick comparison with the Ford that we have this week. So yeah, that's about it. Definitely, as it stands right now, the Mustang EGT is a much better deal because of its performance specs with similar pricing. However, for size, in the space in the back and trunk size and everything else, you may still consider this Chevrolet Blazer EV. So you should definitely compare them. There seem to be in stock at the dealers right now. So this is a brand new car. The salespeople have not been trained on them yet. So they have Silverado EVs in stock, Blazer EVs in stock, various versions. And they also have Equinox EVs in stock. All of those Ultium battery-based systems and cars are now in stock at dealers. So I would go right ahead. Here are some sound effects. Hopefully you can hear them through the mics. And it does regen a bit. You can see it on the dashboard in the green zone. It does regen a bit, but obviously it's not one pedal driving. So once you change the setting, you should be able to do the one pedal driving here. And we'll check it and post in comments in terms of how to do it. Just very time restricted here, having this car from a dealer. So that's it about Chevy Blazer EV specs and first impressions. And then we'll stop now and we'll jump into the Mustang EGT, the latest version, priced similarly to this car. and we'll give you our impressions of that and the final comparison, and talk about some of the other competition out in the market right now. That's about it. Stay tuned for the other section. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. I think we are on. The sound is on. Let's close the windows, and we're ready to do part 2 of today's review and comparison of the 2024 Mustang MachE GT Performance with the performance upgrade that we're sitting in right now. And we just drove the equivalent price Chevrolet Blazer EV, and we drove the RS version, which is just basically still the standard version, but with some cosmetic sporty updates. For some reason, okay, there we go. Now the car is on. Because it was the climate was blowing air, but it wasn't cooling. It's because the car was not on. We just had the accessory power on. Now the AC is working properly. Okay, maybe we can turn down the fan speed a little bit, because it's no. We want to keep it on 1, 2, maybe. There we go, a little bit quieter. Okay, so yeah, we are now inside after having driven the Chevrolet Blazer EV RS. With its 288 horsepower and 85 kilowatt-hour battery, priced from $64,000, and with a few options. Plus, if you want to add the sunroof, this car comes standard with a sunroof. You're gonna be at 69 grand right there. And this car now, after the huge reductions, is now also at 69 grand. As you see it right here, it's about 72. So it's a really super deal now on the Mustang MachE GTs. 2 years ago, again, when we drove it first time, it was over 90 grand, the test car, as equipped. So there we go. Let's take it for a spin. Give you our impressions of the comparison between the two. Now, to be fair, so those two cars, the Chevy and this Ford, are only compatible in price. They're both around just under 70 grand. In terms of performance, you would have to basically, we would have to take the SS version for a spin. The SS version has not been released yet. That will have 577 horsepower, or basically 100 horsepower more than the Mustang MachE GT. However, all they are quoting on the performance, it will be sub 4 seconds. This car is already 3.5 seconds. It's incredibly quick. So I'm not sure how much quicker the extra 100 horsepower can give you. What will happen though is that the standard Blazers have 85 kilowatt-hour battery. There's a good chance that the SS, just like the Lyric, will come with an even larger 101 kilowatt-hour battery that is also offered on the Acura ZDX that we will be testing soon. So that one will have a slightly more range, but not by much, because it will have way more power. So basically, instead of the rated 450 kilometer range right now on the Blazer, which is identical to this Ford MachE GT, you will have about 465. So yeah, much larger battery, but then way more power. It balances itself out for a tiny bit more range on the SS version. And we don't have the pricing on that, but obviously it's gonna be way more money than the RS version, LT and RS versions. And again, the RS we just drove 64, and as equipped was 68 grand without the sunroof. So add the sunroof, you're at 70 grand, just like this car. So much better deal on the Ford side so far. And of course, in terms of the performance, you can't compare it. We'll reserve our opinions until we drive the SS Chevy, but assumably the Blazer SS is going to be much more expensive, at least 10 to 20 grand more, logically. Again, these are brand new cars, so Chevy and GM are still testing the market with their pricing. I see a lot of Blazer EVs, so they seem to be selling well. The Blazer EVs, and especially Equinox EV, which is even lower down, So once we get hold of the Honda Prologue, which is the equivalent of the Equinox, we're going to compare those two and hopefully give you our impressions of these two and some of their other competition. But right now we're comparing the Blazer EV with the Mustang MachE GT. So we are now in the Whisper mode, which is basically economy mode. We're gonna try and switch it to sport once we get to the part of the highway. And the big difference here, let's turn it on. Right now we are in the Chevy. We turned on the adaptive cruise control with lane keep assist. This car comes with the full hands-free Blue Cruise, and that is an incredible option. And all that, again, just around 70 grand. All this performance, all this technology, and it's still just 70 grand. Well, you could argue that 70 grand is not very affordable, but for the performance, for the almost 500 horsepower, 3.5 second acceleration, I mean, that's supercar acceleration. You will be able to embarrass a lot of the 911s and Lambos, Ferraris, etc., etc. So it is incredible. If we switch it to the drive mode, so basically you have Whisper, you have Engage, and Unbridle. So let's switch it to Unbridle and compare the sounds. The Chevy, the moment we put it in sport mode, it was producing artificial sounds. So basically, you could hear the sounds are completely different on the Chevy and on this Ford. This Ford is much more kind of down low bass sound that kind of tries and imitate like a V8 engine. On the Chevy side, it's kind of a typically electronically composed music or sounds that are just pure electronic sound. This one here at least pretends to give you similar feel to like V8 sounds, which now more and more cars are doing. As you may have heard, the Dodge Charger two-door and Ford will be offering a V8 sounds, which you can turn off, by the way. So if you don't like them, you can turn it off, but they will be piped inside and outside, like some of the other, like Porsche does. Porsche pipes the artificial sounds outside. So all in all, you should definitely look at these two cars. The Chevy wins on the space size. The Ford wins on an incredible deal size for this particular version. So we're comparing a top of the line, top trim MachE GT with RS version, which is kind of a mid trim. And in order to get this performance in the Chevy, you'll have to pay much more for the SS version, which hasn't even been released, and we don't know the pricing. So that's about it about regarding the comparison. The consumption on the highway, was quite high because we were driving against the headwind, 24 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We did not hypermile it because, this is a sport version, GT performance version, so you just don't hypermile these cars. And all we can say is that both of the Chevy and Ford offer the same DC charging speed of 150 kilowatts maximum. So obviously, because this is a slightly bigger battery, it might take you a few minutes more to fill it up. The other versions, the SS version with the 101 kilowatt hour battery, same like as the Lyric equivalent, and ZDX, hopefully, they will charge faster, up to 195, so very close to 200 kilowatts. So again, once we get to test that particular version, the SS version or the ZDX or the Lyric, we'll be able to tell you about more impressions about the performance and charging speeds, etc., etc. So that's about it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment under this video. And as usual, don't forget to press the subscribe button on our channel. And as usual, we have to mention that all of the videos on our channel are brought to you by our real estate company, Condos and Castles Realty Inc. You can find us at www.condosandcastles.com. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next review.